So one of the most common things that incident response teams provide to their constituents is incident reporting guidelines. They can let their constituents know how and what to report to them and provide them some guidance, because a common question that the end users have is we're not sure what do we need to report, how do we report it, when to report it. So in part of your incident handling or incident reporting guidelines, one of the things you need to do is make it clear to them what you consider to be computer security incidents, and maybe distinguishing the types of activity that you do want or require to be reported to you versus things that may not be considered as high priority or security incident. For example, again, unsuccessful attacks, do you want those reported to your constituency? Perhaps you do. Maybe if it didn't succeed, this may not be within the criteria that you have identified that you want to record and capture. Other types of activity, such as nuisance or spam, junk email, unless it has some security-related component, like maybe it's a phishing attack, you may not be interested in having these types of reports to you. So identifying, letting your constituents know what you expect them to report to you, and then how and when and why to report that. So providing some baseline context as to why, again, maybe this is just voluntary, or maybe you do have a enterprise policy that requires certain types of activity to be reported to certain groups within the organization. Giving them contact information, again, phone numbers, email addresses, things that we'll talk about in a moment, and some guidance as to what information needs to be reported. And again, this can be very useful in having sample reporting forms or other detailed, explicit guidance definitions of what information you need to help them in this incident. So having incident reporting forms, there's a variety of different ways to provide this. It could be a form that someone fills out, or maybe it's a form that's on a website that they submit. But the basic concept is you want to describe to your users, to your constituents, what kind of information, their contact information typically, so you can get back to them, the specific details of the nature and the type of the activities that are occurring. You know, they may just not have a lot of information. If you don't have a form to guide them, they may just send an email message or say, something as vague as, I think I may have a computer virus on my system. But having them provide you with more details, what type of operating system it is, the host name or IP addresses, other applications, some background information about the system. Was it up to date with security patches? Some background context will be very useful. Symptoms, any evidence, any logs they can provide to that. So all this information will help you to more successfully triage the report, as well as prioritize that correlated with other incident activity that you're looking at. And it should tie in with other expectations that you're setting for your constituents in reporting incidents to you. Another thing that's very useful is having a standard published email address for your constituents, and having this one group email address or alias instead of individuals. For teams that don't have a designated incident response team, organizations that don't have an incident response team, people may know individuals. They may be reporting to your personal email address. But if you are not available, or if they're not going through the standard processes, you may not be as successfully able to track all this information that's coming in. So having a designated alias or email address that all your constituents can send for incident reports, and you may have a need for more than one. You may have one for reporting incidents, and then a separate incident for a separate email address for non-incident related requests or information. Having a published phone number, whether you call it it's part of your IT help desk or your SOC or your hotline. This is, again, one place that people can call. Perhaps they may not be able to send you email or communicate through a web-based form. And some people just prefer to talk to an individual, or they may be in a hurry, so they want to try to report the incident as quick as possible, so they'd rather pick up the phone and call someone. So having that phone that can be used for reporting these is also going to be very useful. There are a variety of different issues with having the phone service. Again, who is going to answer that phone? Is it going to be part of your core CSIRT team, or is it going to be part of your help desk, and there'll be maybe different tier levels? What hours is this phone going to be available? Is it just during normal business hours, or are you going to have a different phone number for after-hours coverage or 24/7? what is the expected level of service and the range of services that might be provided during the initial reporting of the incident. So setting expectations with your constituents by providing this information in advance is going to be very useful as an incident handling team. And then some additional things that will be very useful is having sources and criteria to identify information from other available public sources, other websites, other security groups, different mailing lists. Just again to be aware of what the latest trends are, maybe new types of intruder techniques or attacks or toolkits that are being used, being aware of exploits or specific new vulnerabilities, and just general situational awareness. So you need to define what are the best sources there, make best use of your time for looking at these different public sources, and how you assess and the worth or the relevance of the information that you're gathered. You could have criteria that focuses particularly on certain mission-critical systems or high-impact applications or other systems within your organization or constituency. It could be that there are particular other criteria that you use for defining which sources you're going to monitor and how you're going to collect this information and gather it. There could be additional types of activities, not just computer security or cybersecurity related incident, but other types of issues. Are there certain events that are happening out in the world that might also have some impact or relevance on the activity you might be seeing on your computer systems and networks? Even things like holidays and other weather conditions, things that might have some bearing or impact. And then you also want to have some kind of way or mechanism or system to gather all this information in one location so that you can use this to refer back to and share with other incident management staff or with your constituents as needed in the appropriate manner. So having, whether it's a database or some other file system or a certain way of collecting this information and being able to refer to it back or for further analysis will also be a useful tool to enable your incident handling team to perform efficiently.